Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Heal Profoundly and Enduringly. It's been a couple weeks since I was on my retreat last week. So hi, welcome back. And for those of you who are not familiar with this show is all about adding all the good tools and the resources into your toolbox so that you can feel empowered to heal yourself. And today I have Marla Torres with us, and I can't wait to introduce her. And that's another reason that I love doing these shows, is because it can be so hard to find that person that you click with, that you're like, oh my gosh, that's my person. And I love bringing on people that I know and trust, that I can share with you so that you can feel in your heart space, I don't know why, but I just resonate with this human. That's why we do this. So when you connect with someone on this series, reach out, say hi, just start a conversation, have a chat. It's that easy peasy. All right. So we're going to start chatting about Marla and how fabulous she is. She's an intuitive healer and RN. She's experienced living in survival mode. And like the phoenix, she has risen up from the ashes to stand strong in her divine power. She's passionate about inspiring women who are living in survival mode to reclaim their divine power and thrive. Marla believes it is important to cultivate a safe and loving community, highlighting unity, where each woman can be seen and supported as they too rise up from the ashes. Marla utilizes ancient healing techniques to support each woman in their journey to reclaim their power. And I will add to her fabulously written bio that I say this all the time on my lives. If you've been on my lives before, I always mention Marla, that she is the most trusting person I know of surrendering everything to God and to the universe and trusting, and they always deliver. She is a walking representation of surrender and abundance. So that's my addition to your bio.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here, honey.
Yes, I'm so excited.
So today we're talking about rising from the ashes. And I always start this the same way, which is asking you, hi, Sherry Jones, which is asking you, what is that one thing you feel is necessary, non-negotiable, to heal profoundly and enduringly?
It's so funny. I had such resistance when I saw that question. I was like, one thing? There's not one fucking
I
thing.
know. I know. It's hard to narrow it down.
It was hard to narrow it down, but ultimately, I saw a huge shift for me personally when I started my daily gratitude practice. I read Think and Grow Rich by Pam Grout, and one of the experiments in there talked about every day, for a month, to write down 3 things that you're grateful for. And it can be as simple as running water, or, that you can breathe. And, it can be things that we take for granted, and so that really shifted my perspective tremendously. And I realized that I wanted accountability with it. So I started a little Facebook group, or not group, but a Facebook Messenger group. And I was like, let's invite my friends to witness this and also to join in if they want, just to create a space that anyone can jump in and share, and also be inspired that there is so much to be grateful for every single day. Like, we have so much abundance in our lives. And that just shifted things so much for me. I really noticed that the longer I've been doing it now, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, and who knows, maybe it's 5 by now. I have no idea. I lost track of the time of it, but that has shifted things for me tremendously. So just really being in that state of gratitude, even in the midst of chaos, just like, what is this teaching me? Thank you, universe, for this opportunity. If it's happening, it's meant to be here in my life, so everything, get to manifest these amazing experiences to help us heal and to grow. And so for me, I think the gratitude practice has really been probably one of the biggest tools for me.
Yeah. And I've been blessed enough to be in that group with you and just to witness. I think it's been about 4 years, Mar. And like, in that 4 years, I think you missed one day.
Maybe 3, but yeah.
And I was like, dude, with all the transitions that I know you've been through, that you you've been consistent. And I guess that's one of my questions for you that I want people to have access to, is because I know this is one of the things that so many of my clients have trouble with, which is that consistency, right?
Mm.
Like that devotion. I like to look at it as devotion to ourselves, right? But like that consistency, like what is it that reminds you or mobilizes you to do that so devotedly?
Well, one of the things is that I'm worth it.
Mm,
I deserve this, and to be in integrity with myself and my word to myself, my commitment to myself. Like, I'm committed to healing. I'm committed to my growth.
mhm,
And um, yes, sometimes life happens, and I'll be like, oh shit, I forgot to do that this morning, and so I'll do it in the evening. Like, but
mhm,
for me, this is part of my daily routine. You
mhm,
know, typically it's in the morning, first thing I get up extra early so that I can do this. And that's also a little bit of a sacrifice because I love my sleep. I love my sleep. But I've seen the magnitude of the shifts and changes that this practice has brought me, that it's not really up for debate. This is
mhm,
what I am doing. Like, even my daughter knows. I'm like, I have to do my routine this morning. Like, yeah, okay, yes, we can do this, but after I do my routine. Like, and so she knows now, like, she doesn't even really question anymore because she knows mom has to do her routine. Yes, I do, because this is important for me and my growth, and um, how I show up in the world. And so this is part of it. It's part of it, and I'm worth it. And realizing that, really stepping into my worth has been huge too. Just knowing, like, yeah, I'm worth being, I can be impeccable with my word to others, coming like from the four agreements, but also impeccable with my word to myself. Like, that
mhm,
is huge for me. Like,
mhm.
yeah, I don't have a problem being impeccable with my word to you, to Savannah, to anybody else. But I was noticing sometimes some things I was having a trouble with being impeccable with my word to myself, and I was like, wait a second, why? And so just coming back to that and realizing, no, I'm worth it. That I'm worthy of this time. I'm worthy of this practice, and the healing that's ensuing, and the growth and expansion. I'm worth it. And as is everyone. Like, we
Mhm,
all are worthy and deserving of this. And take the time for yourself, because
mhm,
if you don't fill up your cup first,
mhm.
you're not any use to anybody else either. You think you are, but you're really not. What you're giving out is not your best.
Yeah, and I love that too. And I think that really speaks to the level of devotion you've also had to your physical healing journey,
Mm.
with healing from Hashimoto's. Because I know for me, when you say I love my sleep, I'm like, yeah, right there with you. And so for me, that would always come up with a lack mentality around my physical body, because I'd be like, if I don't sleep, then I'm not going to feel well.
Mhm.
Right. And so it was like, and that narrative has been shifting, since I have healed so much, which is like, yeah, I mean, I actually get to choose anything I want. It doesn't have to mean anything. It does. If I decide to get up early, it doesn't have to mean that I'm not going to feel well. There's
Right.
several nights that I go to bed and I don't sleep well all night. And I haven't set an alarm to get up for healing practice, but I don't sleep well all night. And guess what? I'm fine the next
Mhm.
day. And
Mhm.
so I think that that's a big testament too, is that you've trusted your body to be resilient, and you've trusted that these practices override and counteract any stories that are attached to not sleeping. Because I find that's what was existing for me for a very long time.
Right. And I love how we're mirrors, because I had noticed that also. Like, as you know, I did the abundance book and practiced
Yeah.
the 10 principles for almost a year, also very consistently. And I realized that the lack mentality is not only around money.
Uh-huh.
We may think it is, but then when we stop and look at it, I realized also for me that was part of it too. It was that lack of thinking, oh, a lack of sleep. Oh, I didn't sleep well. I didn't get enough sleep. Um, yes, you did. You got enough sleep, that you got the sleep that your body needed, and you will be fine. And so just shifting again, it goes back to shifting your thinking, which I think the gratitude practice really ties into. It's like the little catalyst for shifting our thinking from the old way that no longer serves us into this beautiful new way of possibilities, of anything is possible, and just really opening ourselves up to that and staying curious and, just getting to experience it. But yeah, I love the, the mirror, how you mirror that, because that had come up for me too, that lack around the lack of sleep. It's like, no, so you go to bed a little early the night before, you're fine. Like you have
Right.
plenty, you have so much, you have an abundance of sleep in your life, Marla.
Yeah, no, it's true. And we get to choose that. I mean, if you want a cat nap in the middle of the day, you have that choice. You know what I mean? Like if you need it. But yeah, that's funny because I did so much work around money mindset and whatever. And I'm just like, I'm really okay in this area. But what I brought from it was the lack mentality around my health. Well, I can't do that because then I might not feel well. I can't do that because that's going to knock me out for 3 weeks. Those are all stories.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh, yay. Now I get to shift it. As soon as we have awareness, we're like, yay, I have lack mentality.
Exactly.
I get to move it. Exactly. So yeah, abundance was the other piece that I know we wanted to talk about. And I know you've had some really good lessons in that recently too, that have just expanded your connection to abundance. So can you share a little bit about that too?
Yes, it's been interesting. I just moved from New York to Tennessee. With my daughter, sold our place in New York, and just relocated. And again, the trust, because I just knew I was that it was time to leave New York, and Tennessee it was just aligned. People are like, oh, why did you choose, Tennessee? I don't know, ask Source. Source guided me, like people, that's kind of an interesting way to tell people that are maybe not like-minded, like, oh, Source guided me, like, okay. So I was like, well, it was a number of things, but just seeing how that came in. And also as I went through the process of packing and releasing, it was like, people were like, oh, moving is so horrible, it's such a hard experience, and I'm like, yes, it can be hard, but it's not horrible. Like it was so freeing for me to be able to, I released so much. And I realized also a renewed awareness of the abundance in my life. Like, oh my gosh, look at all these boxes, look at all these toasts. Like, we have so much. We have so much to be grateful for. Yes, these are physical things, but also just, the non-physical, just realizing these supportive and conscious people in my life. Like, it's incredible. And as I write, my daily, I've kept some of the abundance book, which I highly recommend. It's a little book, like $5 on Amazon, life-changing. But some of those, like, I started shifting them to not be just about money, my little I am statements, so I am bountifully supplied with, yes, money, love, time, health, expansion, and conscious relationships. I just keep adding these fun things. So I'm like, yes, look, I have all this abundance available to me on so many levels. And it just feeds my soul, and it makes me feel so alive. Like, it's so exciting.
Exactly. And what I love about it too is that we can celebrate that without feeling like we're attached to it, like, because you realize that no matter what form it comes through into your life, you're still in gratitude for Source for providing it. Like, no matter how it shows up. And it's so funny because what you're describing about your move is exactly like with my retreat this weekend. People are asking me, like, there's no human words that describe it. And that's what I keep going back to, is like, I don't know, Source did it. Like, some of this shit that Source had me do for this retreat, like, they would drop shit in and I'd be like, all right, I don't know what that is, but I'm just going to do it. And literally it was like 5 minutes before we started it, and I still had no idea what I was doing. And I just followed step by step. What are my hands grabbing? What are my hands guided to put here? What are my hands guided? And it ends up being this, like, absolutely mind-blowing ritual that none of us had any idea about. You know what I mean? Like, when you're open to that. And then what was funny is we're sitting there doing a sound bath, And one of the women were all playing the singing bowls. She taps the singing bowl and it shatters.
Wow.
And I had zero internal reaction.
Mhm.
And it was so beautiful because that's the point here, is that when you're filled from within and you feel that abundance so deeply, you're not attached to the objects. Whereas even a year ago, I've been on this journey for a while, but even a year ago, I probably would have been like, oh, my singing bowl. You know what I mean? But like, I was like, literally did not care at all because the abundance was overflowing in that room. Right. And it happened. And I was just like, it's just an object. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
just, it was so beautiful to be able to even witness that within myself and to be able to realize how much reactions outside of that are truly just our attachment.
That's key. And I think too, like the tools that we're given, sometimes the physical, whether it's crystals or singing bowls or what have you, they're not meant to stay with us forever on
Mhm.
our journey, and so how they release themselves,
Mhm.
it's interesting to see,
Yeah. Well, that was my first
how
response.
they released. It's like, oh, okay, so you've served your purpose. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Like,
That's what I said. I said they were complete. That singing
yep,
bowl was just complete. Sounds good.
yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so beautiful, and just staying open to that. I'm sorry, my cat decided that he wants to try and open the spring. Nope. There we go. So
How are the
it's just
animals doing
amazing.
with your transition, by the way?
They're good. It was a little rough in the beginning, but
Mhm.
understandably so. And we just held like the safe space for them and continue to be reassuring and just be like
Mhm.
the consistent presence for them. And yeah, they're loving it. They're just, running around and
Yeah.
talking and being silly and
Good.
they've been very loving. And interestingly, also Rin has really warmed up to Savannah a lot.
Mm.
In the beginning, she was very scared of her. But she was just sitting on Savvy's lap the other night, purring, just like
Mm.
loving on her. And it made my heart so happy too, because it's like there's just so much love here in our home and
Mm.
the energy. Oh my God, Laura, the energy is so much lighter here. Like I can feel it within my
Yeah.
being. It's just so much lighter. And it also brought me to um, to consider that, I mean, I knew it was time it's time. I was guided, it's time to leave, but what energy was still stored within my place in New York?
Yeah.
Even though I had closed so many chapters, the divorce, the bankruptcy, all of that, what energy was still there and still, I won't say holding me back, but still, kind of ready to be released,
Yeah.
and then just having that closure. And I think I know the animals feel the change in the energy too, and they're happy. They run around and play with each other and just have this grand time. I'm like, who knows what our neighbors downstairs might think, but I think she's old and maybe a little hard of hearing, so I think we're okay.
You're safe, right?
We're safe. But yeah, it's just it feels so good. And like we were talking a little bit before we went live, like I created this. I
Yes.
manifested this. Just like we all have the power to do this. And that's what is so I'm very passionate about, that helping others, especially women, see that we are powerful. Like you hold the power within you. Maybe you need a little help finding it again, and that's fine. There's so many of us that are here to help support you, but you have the power and you can choose to say, I'm going to heal myself, and then that's one thing I think it was important, from the beginning of being given the diagnosis of Hashimoto's thyroiditis. I didn't own it. That was not mine. I
Yeah.
don't say I have that, because I don't. It's not mine. They gave me the diagnosis, but I'm like, okay, that's a diagnosis. I'm going to heal myself. And I didn't know how. And back then, I hadn't even really started. I mean, I guess I started my spiritual journey, but I hadn't gone quite as all into it as I am now. And I just knew that I'm going to be healed. And
Mhm.
even to this day, like I am significantly down on prescription medication for my thyroid.
Yeah.
Significantly. It's like not quite, but almost to the point of just being off of it. And, the endocrinologist that I fired and, the other one after that, like there was like a lifetime sentence of like, no, you're going to take this for the rest of your life. You're going to be checking your labs for the rest of your life. You're going to feel like shit for the rest of your life. I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Don't know how it's going to change, but I'm not, And so like just seeing how that has unfolded for me, and just, it's taking back the power of my health, but also seeing how interconnected it is with our mental and emotional, spiritual health. That's all. Like our physical is like, the symptoms are the end stage, like
Right.
it's finally like it's exhibiting now in your physical body. That stuff started years and years and years and years ago, and maybe lifetimes ago. There's a component of that also. So just being able to kind of connect some of the dots, and also to see how interconnected they are, and how beautiful when I heal on this level, to watch my physical self shift and change, and become more vibrant and healthy. And let's see, Sav's 8 or 9.5, so 7 years ago, no, 8 years ago. 8 years ago, they gave me that diagnosis, and I could barely get off of the couch to care for my 1.5-year-old.
Yeah.
1.5-year-old, yeah. And yesterday we were doing obstacle courses and zip lining and having the time of our lives. Like, and I had energy for it, and I felt amazing. And we had like the best time. And that's initially why I started doing it, was for her, so that I could be present with her and active with her. But now the reason has shifted, and it's for me. This is about me. And I'll tell her, she'll be like, oh man. I'm like, no, it's not selfish. This is for me. And then I can be a better mom for you. And we see how it kind of trickles downward. And that's what I'm trying to also show her, that it's not selfish to take care of yourself first. And reinforcing for her, when she has those aha moments, like give the positive reinforcement that yes, absolutely, Sab, So, and that's what I do for other women too. This is help them see that you got the power, B, you're worth it, or maybe it's the other way around. First you're worth it, then you got the power. I don't know. It's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? It's all just so like beautifully interconnected. And it's incredible, this journey. It's really incredible. And I love it so much.
I'm just so happy for you. And I'm so proud of you for just making these deeply trusting decisions that can be scary as hell.
Yeah. It wasn't, believe me, it was a little scary when we got here. And it's like, just drove 15 hours, and I walk in and the apartment's not ready for us. And I was like, okay. And then here's a beautiful example. Abby goes, well, Mom, let's look at the positive. We're all here together and we're safe. And I was just like, man, I love you. Yes, you're right. Yeah, we can put our sleeping bags down on the floor again, just like we've been doing. So what if we don't have sinks and countertops and all this stuff? Like, we have bathtubs, so we have running water, we have toilets. Like, we're gonna be fine, so just shifting that and seeing her shifting. She tells me all this, blah blah blah. I'm not into spiritual stuff like you, Mom. And I'm like, okay,
yeah,
that's fine. You're 9.5, like that's fine. But I know she's listening, and I know it's sinking in, whether she wants to admit it or not. Like, just having her just reflect that back to me, I was just like, oh my God, yes, like this, yes, many times, yes.
I know, and it's so beautiful to witness that. Like, I had a conversation with my son Gabriel the other day. It was so funny because I don't even remember it. This was like a couple of weeks ago, I think, but I was just like not feeling great in that moment. I think I was just getting over a cold, and I was just tired and whatever, and I needed to lay down. And so he was asking me the same question for like the 500th time in 15 minutes. Shocker. And so I snapped a little bit, and he goes, I love this so much. He goes, I think you're feeling irritable inside because you're not feeling well, and you need to listen to your body and lay down, but instead you're continuing. And I was just like, Oh my gosh, I feel amazing now. I feel great. I don't need a nap. Did you just say that? Oh, but like, because I have as him especially, I have no idea like what I mean, I know he's internalizing it, but like, but when those words came out of his mouth and I was like, oh my gosh, like
So
that
beautiful.
reflection, that mirroring. And I was just like, oh, chills everywhere. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Thank you, God. I mean, it's just, oh, it's so beautiful to be able to witness that. And I know that's one of the other things that you practice that I think Savannah reminded you of in this moment was that power of presence, like, mom, stop, look around us. What do you see? What is available to us? And yes, that crosses over with gratitude some, but presence is a bit of a different vibration. And I find that, well, you said you're working on the power of presence right now, aren't you?
Yes, it's incredible. Oh my gosh.
Like when you, like, I can't describe it because it's funny. Like when I was a therapist for 20 years, it was like, okay, the present moment means that we need to attach, or we need to like connect to our five senses and blah, blah, blah. Those are all really good practices, but they're only one layer. And I have to say, like, presence does not have the impact for me unless I deeply feel it. Like, I can do all the cognitive exercises under the sun to become present, but to like sink deeply into an immersion into presence is a very, very different experience.
It really is. And I highly recommend this book. Like, I also joined up with Carson Spencer. He's amazing. So he has like a supportive group as we walk through this, like, because the presence process is very individual. Like, there's no right or wrong experience. But even if you just buy the book and just work it on your own, it is incredible. The shifts that I'm already seeing. I'm finishing up week 2, and week 2 is really about things that are mirrored to us, the things that trigger us. They're really just a gift from source for us to be able to release and heal things from either our past or past lives, what have you, like that we've suppressed for so long, and not wanting to look at. So it's really just bringing you into that awareness and being here now. And that's one of the things I love so much about the actual putting it to work is every day, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. You sit and breathe, and you breathe in this statement: I am here now in this. So you breathe in, you breathe out, and you just follow that rhythm, and you just keep doing it over and over and over for 15 minutes. And just, I've seen so much shift already in 2 weeks. Like it's incredible. And it's a 10-week process. And then you take a pause for a few weeks, and then you do it again. You do it like for a total of 3 times. And I'm already feeling so many shifts. And I'm so excited. Like, you have a goal, but you don't have a goal because you remain unattached to the outcome. But it's just, it's incredible. Like, it's hard to put words to it. So I just highly recommend it. But just even that simple practice of doing that breathing, and my monkey mind starts to go, because I'm also doing a premortal sound meditation twice a day, 30 minutes. And so that's, Om Tam Namaha. And my monkey mind still goes over that with English. I can sit there and chant Om Tam Namaha in my head all I want, and my monkey mind will still be like, okay, and we have this over here. And it's like, when I find them, when I'm doing the presence process, focusing on that inhale and exhale, my monkey mind doesn't have as much time to interject, and just teaching it and showing it that, no, it's safe. This is safe. We are safe. And what a beautiful gift. I love it so much. It just feels so aligned that it came into my awareness when it did, because I started reading the book back in May, and then oh, wait a second, we are in May. Started reading the book back in April. This is the last day of May. So, and as I started reading it and just getting prepared to start the process, these opportunities arose, and as these oh, oops, that you don't get that apartment after all. Oh, oops, you got to change, electric and insurance and all that again. Oh, oops, it's like, okay, I am here now in this, and
Mm,
just kind of bringing myself back to it, and like, okay, it's okay. Like, I can do this. Like, what am I learning here? What is this showing me? What can I release? Like,
mm,
it's a gift. It's
mm,
not it's not a bother. It's not a, oh my God, again, another trigger. No, it's like, wow, thank you. Thank
mm,
you. Thank you. Like, source is just giving me so many opportunities to
mm,
continue to heal. And it's like, it's just a deeper level, and it's just like, keeps going and going, like the onion, we're taking up
mhm,
layers and going down deeper and deeper. And every once in a while I'll have the, okay, I just want it all to be done. I just want it, this all to be, to be healed and all that. And then I'm like, wait a second, no, I don't, because this is part of
mhm.
the journey. Like,
Right.
I'm enjoying this journey, and I want to have a nice long journey. Obviously, I am surrendered into whatever timeline it is, my journey is for this lifetime. But it's just, it really is beautiful to not be completely healed, and to continue to heal, and to be able to support others, and
Mhm,
you know connect with others, and just be, to see our oneness. That's another thing too that I just love so much, that I've just really been like shown so many like examples of. It's like how interconnected we are, how we are all one. It sounds cliche, but it's not. Like,
mm,
we are all one. We are all mirrors for each other, and we're all in this together. And just like, yes, we're all one, but we also have our own individual journey. And just honoring that, honoring my journey, honoring you have your journey, and staying in my lane, and just, oh, my heart's so full.
I
My
know,
heart
and
is
it's
just really so full.
so beautiful too, because that's a lot of what I've been telling my clients lately too, is everything comes from source. No matter
Mhm,
what it is, if it's somebody who cuts you off in traffic, if it's
mhm,
somebody who, does you quote unquote wrong, right? If it's somebody who is showering you with money and love, all of it is a gift. All of it is from source. And that's why it's funny, because like when you sit there and you blame people or you criticize or you judge, you're judging God, you're criticizing God. Like that was placed in front of you for a reason. That was placed in front of you for your own, for that reflection to be yours to integrate and to gain wisdom from and to expand through. And so every time that I get handed something that feels uncomfortable, that's exactly what I respond with. Thank you so much. I don't understand consciously yet what this means, how it's meant to unfold, what the end result is. And there may not be an end result, and who gives a shit? Like,
right.
it's true too. It's like, we used to think like, oh, well, once I'm healed, once I feel this amount, I can do that. Once I feel this, I can do that. Once I do this, then I'll have this available to me. But I love that being here now, right? Like, this is what we have. This is what we're meant to have right now. And the more that you maximize what's present in front of you or within you, the more you accelerate your results, the more that you become efficient in achieving them. And it's a bit of a mind fuck, not going to lie,
Yep.
for people, for humans who have been conditioned by society and all the things, right?
Yep.
But it's not meant for our understanding. It's meant for our integration.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's an inner knowing too. I think that,
Mm,
our soul recognizes that, and connects with, I think that's what I found for myself anyways, is that
mm-hmm.
kind of like, okay, feels, I don't know, there's sometimes a sense of familiarity, and like,
Mm.
okay, alignment, really,
Yeah.
actually, that's what the better word, it's alignment.
Mhm.
You just feel so aligned with things, and
Mm.
I just love, yeah, how they're brought into my awareness, and the timing, and looking back, granted I don't always have um an understanding of why, but sometimes you are gifted that, and just to be able to look look at back and see the synchronicities and how these things and these people are brought into your life, and what a gift. Like, it really is just such a gift.
Thank you
My
so
heart
much
feels
for
so
sharing
full.
your love and your light, because I can feel it. We can all feel it so palpably
Yeah.
from you. And just that's what it is, right? When we heal and our vibration heightens and we get to stay in this state of just oneness and peace and love, and we magnetize exactly who's meant to be in our world, and we become a magnet for those who are waiting for the invitation to step into that. They might not even realize they're waiting for it, but
Yeah, and it, just as you said that, just reminded me, after we moved here, we weren't even here, like, I don't think of a week, and still getting settled. And so Chipotle, our favorite little restaurant to go,
love Chipotle.
we went to Chipotle, and as I'm getting out, this woman pulls alongside of us, and she stops, and she was like, "Are you an intuitive?" And I said, "Yes, I am." I was kind of like, wait a second, my New Yorker kind of like, wait a second,
Yeah.
kind of talking to me, like, oh my God. I was like, yes, I am. And she's like, so am I. She's like, I saw your magnets on your car. And she's like, I just, you know, sometimes I doubt myself, and it's good to have just like another person that's an intuitive also to be able to, like confirm messages or whatever. And so I gave her my card, and I was like, wow, this is just so beautiful. Like, never did that happen in New York ever.
Yes.
So I, go on my life. We were having our time. We go to Costco like a week later, and I was like, oh, well, let me get gas. They have the gas station, and then I get in line, wait in line, get up to and I'm like, it's not really any cheaper. Like, what the fuck? But I'm like, no, whatever. I'm here. I felt guided to be there, so I'm like, I'm here. Okay, let me start pumping. As I start pumping, this woman comes over from the other side, and she goes, so do you do like healings and stuff? And I said, yeah. So she's like, I saw your magnet on your car. And I was like, I do actually, I do shamanic Reiki. Gosh, I went through the whole, went through my offerings, and she's like, I do Reiki too. She's like, can we exchange cards or whatever? I was like, absolutely. Like, and so I just like, wow, like, I'm manifesting these conscious relationships and these conscious connections, like, it just feels so incredible to see like the shift in myself, what I can manifest.
Yeah.
And how beautiful, like, to have within the span of a couple of weeks, these two beautiful souls that, yeah, there's a connection. And like, source just, to me, that was like confirmation.
Yeah.
Here, yes, Marla, you are in the right place right now. You are.
100%. Yeah.
And I admit, like, when we got here and the apartment wasn't ready, there was a little bit of niggling doubt, like, oh fuck, did I make the wrong decision? Like, should have I waited until after closing? And like, a little bit of that started playing. And I was like, no, goodbye. No, I am here. Like, I'm here because I'm supposed to be here right now. Like, this is all part of my journey. This is all part of my healing, and it all happened for a reason. So if I hadn't been here, I wouldn't have met those women. Like, if I hadn't arrived when I did, and just really realizing that ultimately not making the wrong decision. Everything is happening. I'm being guided.
Yeah.
So I'm being guided. I can't make the wrong decision.
Oh.
I can't. It's impossible to make the wrong decision, because every day I tune in with Akash. Every day I tune in with Source. I'm being guided.
Yes.
So how beautiful is that? Like, I'm being guided. It's all good. It's all good. Just that reassurance, and just peace that comes with it. I read also the Surrender Experiment. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you
Yeah.
for gifting me that.
You're welcome.
Amazing.
Yeah. So good.
Amazing. So good. And I read that at the time when we flew down here. My realtor at the time had said to come down and start looking at houses, and then we got down here, and she was like, I don't know why you're here, because you can't put a down payment. I was like, what the fuck? And then another friend from down here, she was like, oh yeah, maybe let's book the Surrender Experiment. I was like, I brought that book along on this flight for this trip. Started reading it and just realizing, just sinking into surrender, like that trip was meant to be also, you know,
Yeah.
just really surrendering into the moment and being present. It was no coincidence that A, you gave me that book, B, I brought that book along on the trip, and, you know, C, my other friend suggested it or mentioned she was reading it. It's no coincidence. It's no,
No.
you know, it's all happy for a reason. It's all synchronous, and it's all just, it was setting the foundation for, you know, my journey. And just surrender is a beautiful thing. And I think the past traumas, trauma responses can come up sometimes, and you think you have to defend yourself and you have to stand, you know, protect yourself and all that. But really, the strength is in the surrender. The strength is in just letting go and knowing that A, you're being divinely guided, and B, if it's happening, it's meant to be in your reality, and it's happening for you, not to you. You know, this is not, source is not vindictive. He, she, they're not trying to hurt you. Everything is meant to support you and to be a catalyst for your growth if you choose to welcome it as such. You know, so just really being able to sink into that. And yeah, I truly, my heart is so full right now. I feel at peace. I feel happy, joyful, because happiness is more from external, right? Joy comes from within. Just that joy, I feel, yeah, so good. so good. Yeah.
It's so good. And I think that, you know, people who are listening who want to start cultivating some of what Marla's offering us through her vibration right now is to start that breath she shared with you. You know, just start using that breath and make a commitment to do it for, you said it's a 10-week process, right? The presence process. So just make a commitment for week 1 first, then make a commitment for week 2, right? And just even start to notice or jot down in your journal the shifts that you see. Because even if it's one little shift, they're breadcrumbs, right? They stack upon one another. And they're going to guide you. They're going to guide you to where your soul desires to go. Maybe not where your ego perfectly envisions you're going to end up, right? But where your soul desires to go, and just allow yourself to be led by such a simple practice, because literally it can be that easy. And I know that it, especially if you're in a space of trauma or if you're in a tough space right now, it doesn't feel like it can be that easy, but I promise you it actually can be. But it's the hardest part sometimes is making the decision to just do it, is to just start to do it. So just make that choice and start to do it and allow the rest to carry you, you know? So where can people find you, love? Because I know they're going to want to chat with your fabulousness, and I want people to be able to access you as a support through their journey. So what's the best place that they can connect with you?
The best place. It goes back to the one thing that
I know I'm putting you on the spot.
I guess probably the best, easiest is just, you can email me at intuitivecarewithmarla@gmail.com. Also www.intuitivecarewithmarla.com. And on Facebook, I have my Intuitive Care with Marla Facebook page. And I also have a group, Soul Purpose Alchemy community. And yeah, you can join there and just have some more support of the community of like-minded souls. And I just wanted to add to a little tip with the breathing. When you start, it's helpful to like sharply inhale, like to make and connect with that, because, and he suggested in the book too, and I noticed that when I don't do that, I get more easily distracted, because it's just like you're just breathing. But if you like sharply inhale and then just let it go, and sharply inhale and then let it go, and notice too, like what comes up, because I was noticing, and he calls it drama, you know. It's like the little dramas is like, oh, I need a fidget, or, you know, like, oh, this makes my sinuses hurt, or, oh, you know, this, you know, like I need to move my feet, or I need, and it's like, that's all drama of the monkey mind trying to be like, this isn't safe. And it's like, no, it is safe, you know. And so just when you really focus on that, and even that noise keeps you right there.
Yep.
It keeps you focused right in the moment. So that has been really helpful for me. And I just want to give that little tip because I found
that's
found
great.
that to be super helpful. And I'm also on Instagram, intuitive underscore care underscore. And I also have Marla's Malas, my Patrick Mala.
Malas.
I love these tools so much. They're so incredible. And I know we've created together, and I love creating them. And it just makes my heart so happy. And they're also super powerful, and they're super pretty, and they're just amazing. Some sacred geometry, just this, it's incredible. So I also have Marla's, I think it's Marla's underscore Marla's. So on Instagram too, and then a Facebook page. But just
so much goodness.
So much goodness.
And we dropped all the links here. So guys, just click away and ask questions, and don't hesitate to reach out. You can tell Marla's not somebody who's going to bite you. Could you tell?
So, don't bite.
No, she's not a biter. So reach out to Marla and just be like, hey, I love your energy and the beautiful auric light that's streaming in from the window. And I love all the love that you have to offer. And really a very gentle invitation, to step into whatever's next for you. There's no rules, there's no expectations. So reach out to her for sure. And I will see you all next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Heal Profoundly and Enduringly. But thank you so much for being with us, Marla.
Thank you for having me and inviting me to share my experience and hope.
You're so welcome, love. All right, friends, we love you. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. And we will see you next week. Bye.